Ba ba boom, oh yeah, boom. Ba ba boom, say what? Boom. Ba ba boom, cool, yeah.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Larry's Pop Pod Mini Pop Edition. I'm Amelia Larry.
And I'm Chris Larry. And in this mini pop, we're going to be reviewing the movie The Breadwinner, which we recently watched on Netflix. The Breadwinner, you might remember in our holiday movie preview, was one of the trailers that we said of a movie that we were super excited for. The reality was it really wasn't playing in a lot of theaters. I think maybe one theater in New York City, and we never got to see it in a theater. And it just came on Netflix just about a week ago, and so we jumped all over that. The Breadwinner is produced actually by Angelina Jolie, but probably the more important thing is that it's made by this director named Nora Twomey, who also directed and produced The Secret of the Kells and The Song of the Sea, movies that we absolutely love. What do you think about those movies?
Those movies are absolutely breathtaking. Like, even when I watched it with someone who was, I think a 2-year-old and a 5 or 4-year-old loved it. So
they're really fantastic movies. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about her style again in a second. Those movies were set basically on Irish or Celtic, British Isles, folk tales and narratives. This one was pretty different. This one was set in Afghanistan. It's actually based on a book of the same name that was written by Deborah Ellis, who also contributed to the screenplay of the movie version. And it's in Afghanistan around about the time that the Taliban took over control. And that's actually a big piece of the story. But Amelia, why don't you tell us a little bit about the overall plot of the movie? And don't worry, this is a no spoiler zone review of The Breadwinner. We really want you to go out and watch it on Netflix and experience it for yourself. So we're not going to spoil anything. But give the basic overview.
a girl, who is the main character, her father is imprisoned.
By the Taliban.
Her family starts getting more into poverty, and they have littler rice every night, no raisins, and this family can't survive because there's a little boy who's I think 2 and 3 women, so it's not going to work. And so the girl cuts her hair to look like a boy, and she goes out in the market and starts acting like her father.
Yeah, so she basically goes undercover as a boy. She's still young enough to pull that off. The main reason for that is the Taliban took over and they were extremely sexist. Like, women really and girls can't do anything. So not even allowed out on the street, can't earn money. So the only way that she can... Her older sister is too much obviously a girl, a woman really at that point. And so she can make herself into a boy, and then it's really the adventures of her helping to feed her family, being the breadwinner, and trying to save her father. That's all we're going to say. And you can read that in the back. You could read that description on IMDb. We didn't really give too much away. Amelia, give me some of your reactions. Like, what did you think about this movie? How did this movie make you feel? Talk about that.
Well, first of all, it is an animated film. It's just a really beautiful film. And if you are going to watch the trailer right now, you might see something about stories. And stories are very combined in this particular story. This one story keeps on coming up that this girl made up for her little brother because he was crying so much. And before, she told her father that she didn't like stories anymore. And so it's kind of like going through history. And it's also a beautiful film overall. And it's just really amazing.
It really is amazing. So let's just say right off the bat, we both loved this movie. It was sometimes hard to watch. It was difficult subject matters. This is not a cuddly cartoon movie. It really makes you think. This might be a good time to talk about Nora Twomey as a filmmaker and as an animator. She was Breadwinner was nominated for Best Animated Feature. It lost to Coco. Probably, we understand why. We love Coco too. And her last movie before this, which we just mentioned, the Song of the Sea, was also, it didn't win, but it was also nominated for a Best Animated Movie. And Nora Twomey does something really interesting in all of her films. She bases some of the narrative and the storytelling on an older story from history and folk tales, And when she animates them, she does them in these almost like kind of cutout style. They're not the same animation style as the rest of the movie, which, by the way, much like Miyazaki, these are all hand-drawn movies. These are not computer animations. It's a rare and fleeting art at this point. So, but she does this thing where she kind of balances the folktale. This one, it's an old Bedouin folktale that she does. The main character says to her brother. In the other movies, they're different stories, but she always differentiates the animation from the folktale to the actual narrative that we're seeing on screen, and it is so powerful.
Yeah, it's like I don't even know how these people draw this. I mean, when you look at the pictures, they look spot on. They literally, I mean, I can't see how this artist draw it. And then thinking of how long it is, which is 2 hours something minutes, and there's got to be like thousands of pictures going into one movement.
Nora Twomey, and by the way, this movie was produced by a woman, Jonah Lee. It was written by two women, both Deborah Ellis and Anita Doron. Obviously, one wrote the book and helped on the screenplay. Another wrote the screenplay. Nora Twomey. Its characters are women. Main characters are women or girls. It's a very female positive movie, which is a really powerful statement considering that the Taliban were so horrible to women and kept them in Afghanistan. And this is only about 10 or 15 years ago. We're not talking about like way in the distance past. So it's actually international. It was actually International Women's Day, and it's actually Women's History Month. And so I could not recommend seeing The Breadwinner as part of the celebration of International Women more on so many fronts. It's a really powerful film. And I know that Nora Twomey has been sort of the runner-up in the Academy Awards. And I know Pixar makes great movies, and we loved Coco. You can hear our review of Coco. We did that back in the fall. But this woman deserves an Academy Award. Personally, The Breadwinner and Coco were two of my favorite movies I saw last year, animated or not.
Yeah, I mean, I get that the Coco won, but it's just like, look at this movie. Do you actually see how much work this hand-drawn animation was, how much work was put into that? And then you look at this computer design thing. It's kind of different.
Who do you think should have won the Academy Award between Coco and The Breadwinner?
I think The Breadwinner.
Wow, big statement. The Breadwinner. It really is a fantastic movie. It's not a very complicated story. It's pretty straightforward, but it does have some kind of harsh images of oppression and war and sexism. So it's got some pretty intense themes. So, kind of judge that if you're deciding if to watch it or when to watch it. It's on Netflix. You can if you have a Netflix account, you can watch it literally right now. And I really hope I think Song of the Sea and Story of the Kells kind of grew through Netflix and video. I hope this happens to The Breadwinner.
I know that Secret of the Kells, you can also watch that if you want a little bit more kid-friendly movie on Amazon. Also, Song of the Sea is on Amazon too.
That's right. We love all three of those movies. It's another home run for Nora Twomey and her production staff. So go to Netflix, run, don't walk, get a box of Kleenex because it can be a sad movie, and see The Breadwinner. It is fantastic. I think I didn't see it until 2018, but I think it's one of my favorite movies of 2017.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for another mini pop.
Bye-bye.